Giving is a very important part of the life of a Christian, of the life of anyone actually. There is so much fulfillment in being one who gives. You know, growing up, I learned that people take you for granted when you give, when you are just so free in giving your resources, your time. And so I learned to stop and put a barrier, and you know, that defends me from people who would take advantage of a giving nature. But I realized that I just wasn't happy. That person who was protecting herself didn't feel like me. I was more fulfilled when I gave. And so I started to pray to God to help me have a heart of a giver again. And it's amazing how God answers all prayers, you know. So I've learned that regardless of the reaction of the recipient, when you do give, it actually really makes you feel joyful inside that you've been able to share something with someone. And there are 3 important ways of giving. The first is giving yourself to God, because that's just really the beginning. You know, you can't give man, you can't give anyone if you haven't given yourself to God, because giving means you must give cheerfully. In 2 Corinthians 9, 7 and 8, Paul emphasizes that it's not just giving, it's giving cheerfully. And giving cheerfully needs the grace of God. But it's not just that. You must also give wisely, because there are times when you are not meant to give. But the ability to know when to give and when not to give comes from God. So the first step of giving must be you giving your heart, your mind, your will, your soul, everything about you, your resources. You give it to God. And you form the habit of, before you do anything, daily, you know, you ask God, do I do this? Am I supposed to do this? Oh God, I just did this. Was this right? And you form that kind of communication of Him guiding you everything you do. And you'll see how it will be so easy and natural to just give how He guides you. Another difficult thing is giving your time. Time is everything. I mean, we're already at the end of January. Where did the days in January go? The year just started. I just said Happy New Year. But time has gone. And we've wasted a lot of our time in the past, especially before you became a Christian and now that you're a Christian. And so now you must redeem the time. You must use your time wisely. So you really can't give yourself to everything and to everybody and every event or every commitment. It's actually okay to say no. You must actually start learning to say no. Is this thing going to bring joy to me? Is it going to drag me to a place I don't want to be? Is it going to help me further the goals I have set for myself? Is it going to help me reflect the Christ in me? You have to learn to say no. It's inevitable, and it's just being honest, because even after you've given, you really do have to have time for yourself. So giving your time is something that you must do with wisdom. Giving your wealth. Now, is it not true that no matter how much wealth, material wealth you think you have, you always feel you lack? I just went through all this, always feeling that it just wasn't enough. You're working so hard and you're earning, but you just feel it's not enough. And the key was when I discovered that it's your needs you really need to focus on, not your wants. Because even in 2 Corinthians 9, verse 8, Paul talks about the fact that God will supply your needs and He will ensure that you are abundant after that, so that you can give. But we tend to focus on our wants, and then you are always in a state of lack, because I want so many things. I tell you, I want so many things, but I can't use all of them. But once I learn to focus on my needs, my family needs, and pray for those to be provided for, I learned what it meant to feel like you are in abundance, because you meet your needs and you see that, okay, you have a little bit of extra, and that is even when the habit of saving comes in, because before you even do your wants, you know that you have to save. So it's a mindset that we need to really renew ourselves with. Another thing that we have to do as regards wealth to enable us to give is, what do we value as our wealth? Is it just our material things? Do we realize that there's so many things in our life that when you put material value on them, you would realize how wealthy you are? So we need to sit back and do our own books, of our own worth. What is your worth? Everything around you, your family, your support, your work, things that you are not liquid wealth, but when you quantify them, your health, when you quantify them, you'll see that your worth is really great. Take it daily, step by step, and you'll get the kind of fulfillment that comes when you see someone who has been a recipient of the little that you have. Be a giver. Be a cheerful giver.